right, so we are going to be talking about dividing mixed numbers, which is probably the trickiest thing we'll do this unit, in my opinion, but in my opinion as well, also the best. So we're going to be dividing mixed numbers. The first thing we have to do is practice going from a mixed number to what's called an improper fraction, and then back from an improper fraction to a mixed number. These are just kind of the basics, the basic things that we're going to need to be able to know to divide mixed numbers. First thing is we're going to change a mixed number to an improper fraction. This is an example of a mixed number. It's a whole number with a fraction, 4.5. And in order to divide them, we're going to need to change them to improper fractions. And so what I like to do to change them is do a little swoop, okay? So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to start at the bottom at the 2, and I'm going to make a little curve. Okay, I put in a little arrowhead as well right there. So to change this mixed number to an improper fraction, I'm going to multiply the denominator by the whole number, and then I'm going to add the numerator. Well, 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9, and then we're going to keep the denominator. So 4.5 is the same thing as 9 halves. All right, let's try the same thing with 5 2/3. This is a mixed number. We're going to change it to an improper fraction. I'm going to use a little swoop here. Multiply the bottom, add the numerator. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 2 is 17, and then we'll keep the denominator, thirds, 17 thirds. So that makes sense because in each whole number there are 3 thirds. So in 5 wholes there's 15, and then there's an extra 2 thirds. So it'd be 17 thirds. Okie dokie. If you want to try these next two on your own, you can. If not, let's do them together. We'll swoop. Change this to an improper. We're going to multiply the denominator in the whole, add the top, add the numerator. 6 times 11 is 66. Plus 2 is 68. Keep the denominator. It's going to be 11ths. 68 11ths. And the last one here, get that little swoop going on. 7 times 7, 49. Plus 5, 49 plus 5 would be 54 sevenths. Again, this is going to be a really important skill that we have to be pretty good at to help in order to divide whole, not only whole numbers but mixed numbers as well. All right, the other thing we have to be able to do, and we've practiced this a bit this unit so far, but I'm just going to come back to it, is taking a improper fraction and changing it to a mixed number. I'm going to show you a couple different ways to do it. You want to do the way that works best for you. All right, so the way I do it is this. I think, how many times does 5 go into 12? Well, first I have to notice whether it's an improper fraction. Improper fraction, of course, is when the numerator, the top number, is greater than the denominator, the bottom number. So this is an improper fraction. We can write it as a whole number. Well, how many times does 5 go into 12 evenly? Well, 5 goes into 12 twice. So that's going to be our whole number. Okay. Well, what would be left over? Well, if 5 goes into 12 twice, 2 times 5 is 10. That means that there's 2 left over that we didn't use yet. So it's going to be 2 left over out of 5. Now to check this, we can use the strategy we just used to change a mixed number to an improper fraction. I'm just going to do this swoop here just to remind ourselves. Multiply and add. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is 12 fifths. So you can use that little swoop to check. Here's another way. There's another way to find the mixed number, and it's top in the box. So I'm going to put the top in the box, 35 in the box, divide by 4. This is kind of a very similar method, but this is actually using division. So if I put the top in the box and divide it, 4 goes into 3 0 times. 4 goes into 35 would be 8 times. That's our whole number. 8 times 4 is 32, and there's 3 left over. That means that our whole number is 8. That's how many times 4 goes into 35. 8. We're left with 3. 3 is left over out of 4. Okay? Just to check that, I'm just going to check 8 times 4. 8 times 4 is 32. Plus 3 is 35 fourths. Nice, nice. All right, let's try this next one. If you want to try this next one on your own, you can. I'm going to do top in the box for this one. Top in the box. 31 divided by 2. Let's see how many times it goes in. Well, 2 goes into 3 once. 1 times 2 is 2. 3 minus 2 is 1. Bring down the 1. 2 goes into 11 5 times. 5 times 2 is 10. And we're left with 1 left over. It's kind of like our remainder. So our whole number is 15. And what's left over is 1 out of 2. So 15 and a half. All right, let's just double check that. 15 times 2, or 2 times 15 is 30, plus 1 is 31 halves. So we're all set with that one. All right, I'm going to use the sort of the mental math method, triple M, mental math method, for this one. I'm going to think, how many times does 11 go into 18? 11 goes into 18 only once. So what would be left over? How many more are left over after that 111? So how do we get from 11 to 18? It would be 7 more. 7 more. So we'd be left with 7 out of 11. Now, if you did top in the box, you'd wind up with 1 and then a remainder of 7. I'm just going to check that. 11 times 1 is 11, plus 7 is 18 elevenths. All right. So we're going to need these two skills that we just practiced. We didn't divide any mixed numbers yet, but we'll need these two skills, be able to go back and forth between mixed numbers and improper fractions to help us divide mixed numbers. Okay, here we go. Let's try some. Can't wait. Here comes the first one. Okay, we have 1 3/4 divided by 2/5. Now, the first step is to make sure that we rewrite these numbers so that they're fractions. We don't want any mixed numbers when we keep change flip. So the first thing we're going to do is change any mixed numbers to improper fractions. So I'm going to change, this is just a regular fraction, so I don't have to do anything with that. But we're going to change this one to an improper fraction. We're going to multiply, then add. 1 3/4 would be 4 times 1 is 4. Plus 3 is 7/4 divided by 2/5. Notice, I'm not immediately going into keep change flip. I'm first writing it as a division problem with fractions. I changed any mixed number to a fraction, and this was not a mixed number, so I just wrote it as a fraction. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to keep, we're going to change, and we're going to flip, just like we normally would. We'll keep the 7/4, change the division to multiplication, and we will flip the fraction 2/5 to the reciprocal. All right, 5 halves. Then we'll multiply. 7 times 5 is 35. 4 times 2 is 8. All right, now we cannot leave the answer like this. This is an improper fraction. So what we'd have to do is write it as a mixed number. All right, so how many times does 8 go into 35? 8 goes into 35 4 times. That's going to be our whole number. Sorry, it's kind of like going into this other problem, but that's okay. 4 times 8 is 32, so we'd need 3 more to get to 35. So it'd be 4 and 3. 3 would be the number left over. 8ths. Nice, nice, nice. So that's the answer. There were a few things we had to do there, a couple things we had to do. One, we had to change any mixed numbers to improper fractions. Then we rewrote it as a division problem. Keep, change, flip. then we had to change, of course, the answer back to a mixed number. All right, so there's the first one there. Let's try the one right next to it. Let's try this one. Oops. It's kind of askew. All right, there we go. 3 3/4 divided by 4/5. First thing we have to do, change any mixed numbers to improper fractions. Let's do it. So I'm going to do my little swoop here. Multiply on the bottom, add the top. All right. 4 times 3 is 12, plus 3 is 15. We're going to keep the denominator. It's going to be 15/4 divided by, we don't have to do anything with this fraction, 4/5. Okie dokie. Now we're going to keep change flip, because now we have fractions. We can do this. 15/4 we're going to keep. Change the division to multiplication. And the fraction is going to be flipped. 5/4. Now there's nothing we can do here with the diagonals, because 15 and 4 we can't simplify. 4 and 5 we can't simplify, so we'll just multiply here. 5 times 10 is 50. 5 times 5 is 25. 50 plus 25 is 75. And then we got, oh boy, we got 16 here. Okie dokie. Now we're going to have to change that into a mixed number. So how many times does 16 go into 75? Well, 15 goes in 5 times. 16 wouldn't be 5 because that'd be too much. Let's try 4. So off to the side, I'm just going to do 16 times 4 to see what we get. 6 times 4 is 24. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 2 is 6. All right, so that's as many times it goes in. That's 4 times. It goes in 4 times. How do we get from 64 to 75? That'd be what's left over. Would be 11/16. Nice. So there's our answer, 4 and 11/16. Of course, you could put top in the box, divide it out, but let's just check that. 16 times 4 is 64, plus 11 would be 75/16. So we're good. We're good. All right, now I'm going to leave these two here. These two on the bottom, you're going to do on the next video. We're going to leave these as practice, and then we're going to flip it to the other side, and we're going to try a couple where we're multiplying mixed number by mixed number. So this is a little bit different. Same idea here. Nothing brand new, but let's check it out. So the first thing we have to do when we're dividing any mixed numbers is we have to change the mixed numbers to fractions. So whenever you see a mixed number, you know you got to change it to a fraction. So let's do it. We're going to change both of these to fractions because they're both mixed numbers. All right, 5 1/2. We're going to multiply. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 1 is 11 halves. Well, 11 halves. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. So it's going to be 11 halves divided by 5 halves. So again, we're rewriting it as a division problem. Then we're going to keep, change, flip. Okay, we're going to keep the first fraction, change the division to multiplication, and then flip it. The reciprocal would be 2/5. Now we're in luck. We are in luck here because if you look diagonally, we can simplify. Remember, you can only simplify with multiplication problems. So I can divide 2 and 2 by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 11 and 5 can't do anything with that except multiply. 11 times 1 is 11. 5 times 1 is 5. Well, 5 goes into 11 twice because 2 times 5 is 10. And then to get to 11, you'd need one more. So we have like kind of one left over here. So it'd be 2 1/5. I apologize. I keep going over the limit there, but you know, sometimes you got to break the rules. So 2 1/5 would be the answer. All right, let's try one more. Let's do actually this one right below here. Let's try this one. Actually, yeah, let's do this one. Let's do this one. So again, we always want to, when we're dividing any fractions or any mixed numbers, we always want to write each number as a fraction. So 8 divided by 2.5, we're going to write 8 as a fraction. 8 over 1. Then we're going to write the mixed number as a fraction. Multiply, then add. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5 halves. Okay. All right. So again, if we have a whole number, we can write as a fraction. If we have a mixed number, we can write it as a fraction. Once we're dividing fractions, we can keep, change, flip. Keep the 8 over 1, the 8 wholes, change the division to multiplication, flip that fraction to 2/5. Look diagonally. Is there anything we can do here? No. 8 and 5, no. 2 and 1, no. So we multiply. 8 times 2, 16. Excuse me. 1 times 5 is 5. 5 goes into 16 3 times, because 3 times 5 is 15, and then you need 1 more to get to 16. So it'd be 3 and 1/5. Okay. Oh, you can see that. So that's what you missed if you were absent, and then make sure to check out the next video where we are going to continue working with mixed numbers and dividing mixed numbers. All right. Have a great day. Let me know if you have any questions. See you soon. Bye-bye.